G'day guys, and welcome to the channel. Here's a bit of an update on the next part of the track, and I've started to do, well, I finished it now, but this was the process of making the bridge and the timing tower in the James Hardie Center. This old one along here is out of Race Driver 3, and it was a rubbish model. It's over 20 something years old, 25 years old, or whatever it is, but it gave an idea of dimensions, so I used that, but I started to build the whole thing from scratch, brand new. This is the old timing tower that got demolished in the late 80s to make way for the new everything, new bridge, new pit centre, the whole thing. But the old building had been there since the 60s in one form or another. So here I've done the beams. These are proper three-dimensional beams and all that sort of stuff. I had two goes at the bridge because the first time the curves up here were not good enough, but we ended up looking pretty good. This is the completed model before I exported it to the game. I didn't put, there's probably more detail in there, but I don't know what it is because there's very, very little in the way of photographs for these. Particularly the back of this is, I found one photo thanks to a guy on the forums, but the rest, no, not there. But it did come up well. This is just the bridge put into game, and I wasn't happy with it, so I ended up rebuilding it. This is the timing center, and it came up pretty well, just from photos and a rough estimation of dimensions. The ambient occlusion mapping was done, and here it is in game with the ambient maps on, and they actually come up really well, both sides, particularly around the beams and everything like that. They look very, very good indeed. The steps, I stuffed that up. The steps are not individual, they are enclosed, so I had to redo the steps and redo the bridge, not realizing. There's also two ladders. So there's one ladder which goes into the timing tower on top, and another ladder which you walk through back into the timing tower here. So I put them up. They're not accurate, but they're close enough from what I've seen in photos. Now we're getting a bit more advanced here. I started doing the sponsor decals, and these are, every one is different. So there's a number of sponsor decals on here, and every one I had to do individually. The ampule sign, obviously that's unique. This one on the front is different to this one, and on it goes. The James Hardie logo, that got on there, and this is the new bridge. I think you can see here I've got a bit more curve, and the steps are enclosed, and with the ambient occlusion everything looks really, really quite nice. This come up well. There's a little bit of transparency in the glass, not too much. And then we get on to this monstrosity. This was actually harder than the other, because it has internal and external parts and light bleeding through the polygons, and just being an absolute pain in the backside. It looks great there, but in game it didn't come up as good as that. Like in here I couldn't get this to look exactly how it was, which is a bit of a shame. It's pretty good though, and once I've done all the exterior images and textures, but I've still got to do the stairs, handrails, the better brakes sign, which is just white. That's easy to do. Inside will just be concrete. and there's a room in there. I have no idea exactly what it looks like, but that is good enough. But it come up well. There's a little window at the back. I don't know if it's an external door or they come up internally. I have no idea. But here it is in the game, and at the moment it's probably 99% done. This is fairly well finished. The timing tower is in, and it's come along really well. As you can see, here's both together. I don't know if you can see the top left hand corner here. See how it's quite light under there? It should be dark. I'll just change the texture to sort that out. But the rest of it is pretty darn good. So I think that might do for the work in progress side of things. So now just have a quick look at the lap. There's a few things. There's many things I need to do. The trees are still experimenting with different tree textures. As you'll see, there's some textures which are just concrete and stuff like that. The edges of the tracks, the track needs to be adjusted. So this part here is done. The other thing that I will do is, just hang on, I'll fire this up. This guy. So this is how the grandstand was back in the 80s. I had to rebuild most of it because the modern one has extra stairs and extra bits and pieces. And also, I've got no idea what's in behind here. This is just pure guesswork. I think that's windows, I'm not sure, but the next thing I'm going to do is just do ambient occlusion on here, and that should give it a nicer look. It is that horrible baby poo brown, but I think it's a little bit too light, so I need to adjust that. And at the moment the seats are just two-dimensional, but yeah, it'll come along all right. So the track's looking good. This is the next area behind the pits. Not 100% sure. I think I know this section up here was all concrete, but I don't know if there was a concrete road. I think the pits were actually concrete, and I don't know if there's a road here or is it just dirt, so we have to do some more research on that. But yeah, it's starting to look alright. There's a lot to do up here. Most of the homes are coming along. There's a garden all through here I need to do. That's just generic house. We got the tennis court. There's a tennis court there. Move further along. There's another tennis court. Little orchard here I found. This house is also a generic house. I'll just get it looking as best I can. And don't know what's in here. I don't think there's much. And so here is orchard, which will be, all the trees are the same. I need to change the tree variations. I've got some variations to do that. But anyway, that is it for the moment. So here's a quick lap around Bathurst, and there'll be another update in a week or two. Okay, so have a great day. See ya.